perspective. With the nerve pain, eye strain, nothing to gain, might explain being called cruel for being happy at a funeral. Is it because I understand cruelty with pain is not to be a game? Perspective. How many slip that tongue? And if you do, you know, because you've been, somebody has told you. Yep, smart mouth. Smart mouth. Well, timing. It's about timing. That's been any time for communicating for us. Timing. But smart mouth also. Smart mouth. Timing. Read the encyclopedia set. Does that make you a know-it-all? Because you read a little bit about it all back then. Does that make you a know-it-all? Because then the questions you are asking are in a format deeper than what I read, and everybody then kind of dreads you in their head. Know-it-all, smart mouth. Other stuff, but you know, it's but with that, being called names, or you know, especially, you know, like nicknames, any of that stuff. Nicknames. Big dumb duck, small teeth, because I grind my teeth off almost all the way down to the nerve by 37 years old from grinding my teeth. Had to get all of it fixed. Happy 37th birthday. But nicknames, small teeth, Whitey. We'll just say Thomas and add another S at the end of it. But that kind of goes into like poke to joke. You know, like how many, think of kids that like to poke. Hey, I mean, like to poke to joke. I do. But we're indeed lost in cue when it's overdue. I'll repeat that. We're indeed lost in cue, no cues, when it's overdue. Disciplined. But what about those that joke knowing it's gonna, from a distance, poke somebody? They don't want to come poke and play, but they want to joke from a distance, and then with the intention of poking. Be wise when you joke and throw the poke. Be wise. Do not despise the enemy or remedy to follow in treading waters of unknown. Does anybody want to come joke and throw a poke? Because some of us just cut a line, walk away, because we don't understand it. But when the poke becomes overwhelming or to a degree, destroy someone's life. Lead that person to destroy their own life. Is that, are you now the best? Are you the best that can joke and throw a poke? You're the best at that? Those are things that some of us, you know, when kids walk away or just kind of shake their head or stand up for, you know, something that doesn't make logical sense. I've been asked why I'm broken. Just lost a bunch of weight, just overcome a whole bunch of injuries, repairs, got my hair back, got that nerve that fires. Making a stand, denied of help. It made my spinal cord whelp. More pressure on nerves of pre-existing pain after I pleaded for help with nothing to gain. But injury surgeries, I have autism, Asperger's, as the medical is, in the 94th percentile for the RADs and all the other testing that we were able to have, my son and I, some wonderful testing on behalf. And with that though, that was about the time when we learned that there is a lot of muscle pain that doesn't respond. But I don't have nothing left to gain. But standing up for stuff, hopefully maintain less shame on those that are blamed. But I'd ask the kids, raise your hands, raise your hands. And for those that do, I thank you. But for those that don't raise their hands for a reason, I understand you. And I thank you too. But in a lot of those, I'll be raising my hand for all those questions. And see if they know, and see if they noticed. Because I do, I thank kids. I want to be able to share that with what we know. With what we know from and have learned from at last with autism and the neurosensitivity and the many forms of it. But I know at this point there's going to be some of them kids in the bleachers that are just, is he done yet? Is he done yet? Ready to go, ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. I remember being in that spot, and I'll say hi, right? And those kids that are sitting there just, he's only got a little bit left, he's only got a little bit left, he's only got a little bit left. I see it. Well, I mean, you can read it if you want, but I tricked you. I'm a book and then turned some into a few songs and kind of played with it. But this is something that I wrote in regards to perspective. I have to read it though. There's those people that'll have to read certain parts of this that would be up here nervous and would have to say, I have to read this word for word, distractions, things, just learn to understand them. But this I do have to read word for word because it doesn't pattern, riddle, rhyme, or anything in my head. It's just, it is what it is. I'm willing to smack and crack my head from the nighttime board, like before, to tune out and feel something more and real. All this ink from I've gained for the pain I needed to feel inside to know what I've lived through is real. But those kids, they'll be jumping excited, jumping up and down, ready to go. Here's I will. I'll end with this. Suppression of expressions will only lead to depression. Feelings inside. Reasons why you wouldn't stand right here and do this, whatever. Who are we to stand here cold and bold, logical? There's people that would be nervous standing in front of like crowds, or standing in front of and doing a presentation or doing anything. If so, for good reason. It's a feeling, right? Your body's telling you something. Something from maybe your eyes, your ears, your heart, maybe a reason, climate, some reason why you wouldn't do something in front of, a large group, and not register if it's a large group or the whole world. Don't ignore those feelings. We preach to people to ignore them and be bold and old and cold. We were born that way. Don't think we wouldn't like to have some of the other? But some of us mature in different ways, and we lack the natural things. It's hard for me to hack. It is. It's like beating my brain until it cracks. Wishing I could feel and follow these things. Like I said, it's hard to hack. But I wish I could feel that nature's sending, feeling message other than pressure and pain. Listen to your body and your senses. If you all responded with the same perspective, I told you about what I did when I was bored, right? I would be in a snore from that bore and doing the same thing, reading something else. Because it's lacking the creativity and differences to do the one thing I haven't said yet. Be different. Put together a card for my son. That's what it says on it. Autism, this on the hood. Be different down the sides of it. Reason. It was my son. It took me 30 years. And to have a son, mini me, let's just say, that showed me through his learning, therapy, everything else, but also in talking to me at age 3, nonverbal. Now, into school, no accommodations, with IEP, success. But it was him that showed me the noises, the problems, the people might be talking about something you don't want to hear, you don't want to be around, it doesn't make sense, it's not behaviors, or it's just complaining, or it's whatever. You don't need any more reasons to be in a negative place, so you don't necessarily want to be around it, or, like the commonology of alcohol and talking about your spouse in a negative way, things like that don't make sense to some of us, Why? We don't know. We have a disability. We're missing things, so we're not necessarily going to understand everybody else. And maybe that's why we walk away, because why? We're all different. But my son, he taught me that. He's the one that said that, and it was him. Turn the B backwards. He's 5 at the time. 5. Taught me this. Dad, whenever you need to leave before Neuro, now that I can feel when it's coming and not just have this sudden rush, it's like saying you got to use the bathroom. So before I just learned I got to pee and go find the bathroom. And just walk away and maybe not come back, go do something else. I'm just going to go. Well, why? That's what people would say. Well, why? Be different. And then, to double down, there's always going to be that one that don't make no sense, smart. You know why I'd be different? Because I said it previous. Because we're all different. So we have the 90% of what we understand, structured learning, everything else. And then we have 10% mix of this kind of family and more. What else? What do you get when you start mixing all that stuff? We're all different, so be different. It was my son that said that. Realistically, if we were all the same, then who do we blame? All the same, who do you blame? Some of us don't even feel pain, surreal in areas I don't feel. I was younger, I liked to get hit. I did. It's like a wake-up call to feel something different. I don't know why. Where it came from, I don't know. But I didn't box. I didn't mind getting hit. Come on, slugger. Hit another. Pull the glove off. That bone right there. Drive it right there. Hit her good. Am I alone in that? But I feel that bone. Something I feel. But guess what? Remember, I'm too cold inside because I don't feel things. I'm still bold. But being this old, the repair cost, it's too high to be told from grinding them away unknowingly in my sleep. But neurosensitivity, from introduction to this presentation to all of sensories, neurosensitivity within all of that neurodiversity, especially us that are at the, let's just say at the very tips of any of this, light, UV sensitive, light sensitive, hearing, taste, might only eat certain foods, might only like certain foods, might be a texture of the food, might be because it's only one way you can chew. Now I can chew more of the ways than one, or eat more foods, because it was my tongue that created what I could eat and what I couldn't eat. But all of that neurosensitivity, we don't have to go to the doctor and be diagnosed for any of these, do we? Is it that hard to understand that there are a mass amount of people that have audible sensitivity to noises, certain frequencies? I don't listen to country music, not because I don't like it. It's actually the pitch, that spine twist reaction. It makes me depressed because it's causing more pain than I can fight inside, and I'm going downhill. If I don't keep ahead of that fight, it'll bury me. But neurosensitivity within all of neurodiversity, the ADHD, OCD, dyslexia, bipolar, our family, Asperger's, autism, empath. I thank everybody that's listened to the entire presentation from introduction to now to see neurosensitivity within me the best that I can explain with what we share awareness to our community and others for. Thank you for your time.